back to a brand new episode of the Riff Rundown. Hope this is finding you and yours doing well this weekend. My name is Petrilli, here with my friends at Fishman for a brand new episode of the Riff Rundown. Today's episode is pre-recorded. We are gearing up for NAMM, folks, but I am leaving you guys with a very fun song. There are a few songs, in my opinion, that kick ass like this one. So we're going to be learning Locomotive Breath by Jethro Tull. Such a fun song, couple of chords, pretty easy to play, really, really fun. So electric guitar, standard tuning. As always, you guys are enjoying the lessons, please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, really does help the cause. And if you want to check out all the cool Fishman gear that I use in these lessons, including these sweet Fluence pickups that I have in my Strat today, go ahead and click the link in the video description below. And while you're at it, many of you ask, how can we support you for these live lessons that you do every week on YouTube? Well, start a Patreon page. You can go ahead and click the link there and check it out. It's a ton of fun. And I have a bunch of live original music that is coming out this year. So I encourage you, visit my Bandcamp, Petrilli and the Players, all of that good stuff everywhere you stream music. And we got vinyl too, all that good stuff. So, as always, you guys know I like to ask a question before we get started. So please let me know where you are tuning in from and something you're looking forward to learning about from NAMM. Go ahead and put it in the comments below. Would love to know what you're thinking about NAMM this year. So, electric guitar, standard tuning, let's have some fun. Locomotive Breath by Jethro Tull. Such a fun song. Really excited. Can't believe I haven't taught this one already. So let's get right to it. So obviously those of us who know this song, the intro, the first 46 seconds is a beautiful piano introduction. Stunningly beautiful, so cool, really sets the stage for what's gonna happen and really sets the dynamics, which is great. So Martin Barr, the guitar player in Jethro Tull, what he's doing here, so after that 46-second mark, we have this play with the piano and the guitarist doing some really cool little lead lines. All of these lead lines are coming from the E minor pentatonic scale. So I'm gonna show you guys how to play 3 versions of that scale, and I encourage you, when you're playing along with this, when you're playing with other folks, mess around with some of these scales. They're a lot of fun. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna start with the open position. We're gonna see this mainly in the verses where he's gonna be using this. In the solo at the top, we're gonna be towards this section of the guitar, but let's start from the headstock downward. So E minor pentatonic, what are the notes here? We have E, G, A, B, and D. So if we're talking numbers here, we have the 1, the flat 3, the 4, the 5, and the flat 7. So again, E, G, A, B, D. Those are the notes I want you to remember, the 5 notes, because penta means 5, right? So what we've got here, open E string to the G 3rd fret, to the open A string, A, to B 2nd fret, open D string, there's your flat 7, back to the 1 2nd fret of the D string, E. So that is the first part of this open E minor pentatonic, right, towards the headstock of the guitar. So let's go ahead and play that first part. Okay, from there, open G string, flat 3 to 4, A, to B, open B string, to D, the flat 7, 3rd fret of the B string, and then open E string, back to your root, and then we're gonna add a flat 3 for good measure. There's your G note. So playing through the whole thing, I'm gonna play this nice and slowly. Again, don't forget to alternate pick when you're playing these notes. So here we go. Here's our first E minor pentatonic. Backwards. Okay, so that's the first one. Again, in the verses and all that good stuff, we're going to be using a lot of stuff that's in there. Now, we're going to do another one, same exact notes, E, G, A, B, and D, but we're going to play them in a different spot on the fretboard. So here's E, 7th fret of the A string, to G, reaching 10th fret of the A string, okay, to A, 7th fret of the D string, to B, 9th fret, okay, to D, 7th fret of the G string, back to our root of E, 9th fret. Let's play through that first one. And again. Backwards. Okay. So what we're going to do here is now we're going to play this next octave. We're going to play G, 8th fret of the B string to A, 10th fret, to B, 12th fret. Okay. And then we're going to play D at the 10th fret to E at the 12th. Both of those last two are on the high E string. So from E at the 9th fret of the G string, G, A, B, D, to E. Now let's put all those together. Backwards. Okay, so there's that one. Now, let's do one more. I want you guys covered all along the fretboard. And don't forget, there are many more. I'm just giving you 3. So what we've got here, same notes, E, G, A, B, D. We're going to start at the 12th fret of the E string to the 15th fret G, okay, to the 12th fret A, to the 14th fret B, to the 12th fret D, to the 14th fret E on that D string. Okay, so let's play through that. Now let's complete it. G to A, 14th fret G string, to B, 12th fret, to D, 15th fret, to E, 12th fret, and then to G, 15th fret. Backwards. So we have open, and then A string, and then back to the E string. So listen to that whole section. You'll notice you got the piano. And mess around with some of these. Just like that. So I encourage you, mess around with those scales. Okay, so that's what's happening there. Now, there's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then we get to this chord. To me, pretty sure this is what's happening here. Okay, it's this really cool E5. So get your first finger, 2nd fret of the A string and the D string. Those are your B note and E note respectively, okay? Don't forget the low E string, okay? You're gonna get your pinky finger here on the 4th fret of the G string. That's another B. I want you to strum everything here. To my ear, it's pretty close to what I'm pretty sure they're doing before the band comes in. So at the 1 minute, 21 second mark is where we get those big, heavy chords and palm mutes. So let's go ahead and talk about those. I played those a moment ago. I'm going to show you how to play them now. So we've got E, G, D5 to E5. So like this. So as you notice, got a little bit of dirt on the guitar today. Feel like it needs it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get our E chord. Okay, so those of you who don't know, I'm going to show you how to play it. First 3 fingers here. First finger, 1st fret of the G string, G sharp. Okay, 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the A string, that is B, and then your 3rd finger, 2nd fret of the D string, which is E. So I kind of like to just play those top 3 strings. So it's like an E5. Now from there, I'm going to go to a G chord, but I'm going to play it with 3 of my fingers, so those 3 notes. I'm not going to include this pinky finger using the high G. I feel like it stops at that D note there, but let me show you what I'm doing. So first finger, second fret of the A string B, second finger, third fret of the E string G, third finger, third fret of the B string D. And you're just going to strum it like that. And again, all downstrokes here with that E5 and G so far. Just like that. Now, we don't want the sustain of those chords too long, okay? So we don't want to go, that we don't want. So, how we stop that sustain, using this side of our hand, lightly touching those strings. See what I mean? Versus, okay? So, hover with that strumming hand, okay? Cut the sustain. Now we're going to go to the D5. So most of us know how to play a D chord already. So to make this a D5, what we're going to do, this third here, the F sharp, we are not going to play it. We are only going to play the 1 and the 5. So in this case, that's A, or the 1 is D, and then the 5 is A. There we go. Don't want to mix them up. Okay. So we've got our first finger here, second fret of the G string, which is our A, and then we have our third finger here on D, third fret of the B string. Now we're going to do here, play the open D string, just like that. And I'm going to show you two different ways to do this. So we've got, now notice, pivot finger with that third finger from that G chord to that D5. See that? Dun, 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 dun. Pretty cool stuff. So we've got, and we go back to that E5, and then we do some palm mutes. So all we're doing there, okay, getting this hand here, down, up, down, up, down, up. We want this to sound like that. And I've got a little delay too. Okay? We want it to sound just like a little scratch. So let's go ahead and do that a couple times here. Okay? So after that first pass, so we have E, G, D, E5, right? They all get one strum. After that, that first E5 gets two strums. So we've got chicka, 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 chick. Now, vocals come in the verse, okay, at the 1 minute 31 second mark. So actually starts on those palm mutes. So I'll show you what I mean here. Locomotive breath. Let's talk about that next. So what happens there, so we repeat the E, G, D, E5 a few times. Then we go E, G, D5, B5. So you can play it here at the second fret of the A string, so that's our B. And then we have the fourth fret of the D string, which is an F sharp, and then another B here, the fourth fret of the G string. And we're just going to strum it once, okay? With the palm mutes, okay? So we do that. Let's go ahead and play that so far. So here we go. Follow along. This is a fun one, right? And don't forget, thumbs up. Here we go. Locomotive breath. Time loser. Okay, see what we mean here? So what's going to happen next? We're going to go to this B5. So you can choose to play it here or at the 7th fret. I'll leave it up to you. We're going to go B5 4 times. Da, 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 just like that. Then you're going to use that same shape to play the D5 one time to the E5. So with the 5th fret and 7th fret, and then with the 7th fret and 9th fret. Okay? So we've got just like that. And then palm mutes. Okay? We go back to the E, G, D. one time. Then we get into the part, I'm going to call it the chorus. It sounds like this. So just like that. So what happens here is we go from E, 2 strums, G, D5. We're going to strum the G. We're starting to get bigger, right? So we've got G. Then we're going to go to our A chord. So you can choose to play it this way with the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, G string, and B string respectively. Remember A, C sharp, and E. Those are our target centers here. You can play it this way, or you could do the rock way and just use one finger. I'll leave that up to you. So we've got G to A to that B5. And just play it once. Mute it with this part of the hand. Again, we don't want that sustain. We want the sustain with G and A. We want that to ring. But once that B5 comes, strum it once and mute. And then those palm mutes. We go back to the B5 4 times. Da, 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 D5 to E5. Okay? Pretty much after every chord section, count on doing those palm mutes, okay? So that's what's happening there. Those are pretty much all the chords of the song. It's really, really cool. So I'm gonna play through this nice and slowly. I encourage you, please follow along. So the piano's happening, right? You're using those E minor pentatonics, you're playing, you're opening it up, okay? We've got that E5 nice and big. Band enters, here we go. Verse. Just like that. So there it is. Me humming along there. I hope that helps some of you. So that's what's going on there. Now, as I mentioned at the top, I can give you guys different ways to play this stuff. So if you are at the top here, and again, lots of guitar layers on the song. I even hear like some acoustic, which is really cool. I almost taught this lesson acoustic, but I wanted to play it a little heavier. So here we are. So as far as like the D5 and the E5, you can choose to play them up here. But I did notice Martin moving around, right? So he did. You can choose to do that. You can do all of these as power chords if you want. E5 to G5 all the way at the 10th fret and 12th fret to D5. You can do that too, so I encourage you, play with friends. One does this, and maybe another of you does this, and plays these chords in different spots. Again, not all the notes just live here. We have a whole fretboard that we can use. So there's many different inversions of chords. I encourage you, have fun with that. So those are all of the chords of the song, folks. It goes over and over again at the 2-minute 49-second mark. We have Ian's flute solo, which is super awesome. We go back to another verse and then a chorus, and then that fades out, okay? So that, again, that E, G, D5, E5. Listen to the song, you'll hear the parts. Really cool, pretty simple stuff. It's really fun. So let's do this. Before I get into some of the extra bits, some of the lines that Martin Barre is doing, let's run through this one more time with all these chords. So here we go from the top. Let's go ahead and start right before the band enters with that beautiful E5. Here we go. And let it ring. Okay, band enters, 121. Here we go. Verse. So there it is. Now, something else I want to mention too, with some of those palm mutes, notice the variations that happen here too. So we have, but sometimes in the song we hear, it's a little quicker, a little faster. So I encourage you, try to incorporate all of that in too. So little extra bits here that we have. I put in some of them. Okay, obviously Martin's playing a bunch of cool lead lines. Again, all stemming from that E minor pentatonic. Now what I'm gonna do here is the part in that chorus where we are, right, those nice open, that G chord and that A chord. There's this really cool bit that happens up here at the 12th fret and the 15th fret. So let me show you what happens. Again, this is an underlying guitar part that's layered. You're gonna get your first finger here at the 12th fret of the high E string. So that's an E note. You're gonna get your third finger here on the 15th fret of the B string. This is D. But here's what we wanna do, and this is something that you can use in your playing in all types of songs, okay? We're gonna be bending that D note up a whole step to match the pitch of E, because remember, D and E are a whole step apart. So just like that. Now, to me, it sounds like he's giving just a little sustain at the top of that bend. So see what I mean? You gotta have a really good ear, because if you're just out, it's gonna sound a little funny. So make sure when you're bending that D note that you're right on the money, okay, with that E note. So that's something there that happens over that G and A chord. If I had 4 arms, I would show you, but I only have 2. Okay, so that's what's happening there in that section. You will hear it on every chorus. It's really cool. Again, it's layered. So now let's get into some of the riffs that we see right before the verses and then inside some of the verses too. Again, all stemming from that E minor pentatonic. I'm going to show you a couple of them now. So we've got this one. So notice, not a ton of movement here, all coming from that open E minor pentatonic. Yes. So let me go ahead and show you how to do this. Open A string, hammer on to that B note, 2nd fret, to the open D string, back to B, back to D. Let's do that again. Pretty straightforward. Go back to B, flatten that first finger to play that E note. A lot of these phrases that he does in the song, a lot of them end on that E note, which is really neat because it lands beautifully with that E5 chord at the end of every chord block. So, and this one's at the 2-minute 4-second mark, to the best of my ear. And again, got a little bit of a swing, right? Because the song's kind of fast. Just like that. One more time. So that's what we're looking for there. Now, in the 2-minute 7-second mark, there's a nice little line here, very similar. So let me show you how to play that. Open D string, hammer onto that E note, 2nd fret, to the open G string, back here to the 2nd fret, E, flatten that first finger to play A, 2nd fret of the G string, open G string, and then back to that E note. So let's go ahead and do that. Nice and slowly, let's do it again. Once more. Now, let's do the first one. And now the next one. Again. One more time. once more, these are fun. So just like that, again, really cool stuff, and I encourage you. I watched a lot of live versions of this, and he does it a little bit different every time. So I encourage you, be creative with this stuff too. It's a lot of fun, so music is for. So what we're gonna do next, we're gonna go and look at the one at the 2-minute, 20-second mark. Again, to the best of my ear. This is where it's leading into that B5 chord. And again, really fun, like hammer-on, pull-offy one. So I'll show you how to do that, okay? 3rd finger, 4th fret of the G string, so that's a B note, B as in boy. You're gonna pull off, so leave your 1st finger on the 2nd fret of that G string, pull off to the A note, and then with that A, pull off to G. And you're just gonna pull down. Don't pull down too hard. See, notice how delicate that is? I'm just brushing it. I'm being really delicate here. And you're only striking the string 1 time. So you're not doing, we want this to flow. Strike the string once. From there, 2nd fret of the D string, okay, our E note to open G, back to E, landing on B, 2nd fret of the A string. Let's go ahead and do that. Just like that. Really, really cool stuff. So then the final one, let's see, let me read that again. Okay, so again, something like this, again, in the E minor pentatonic. Okay, so we're getting that 2nd finger, sliding it from the A note to the B note. Okay, to the 3rd fret of the D string, or the B string, D note. Okay, sliding back to the 2nd fret, and then, okay, open D string, open G string, and then to E. Ha, very cool. So here we go again. Again. So that's what's happening there, folks. This is such a fun song. Really great for those of you who are maybe beginners trying to, do a little bit of bar chord stuff. The power chords are great there, but again, a lot of great open chords and beautiful lead lines and well. I encourage you, play these pentatonic scales over the piano part as a good way to practice. Because the scales don't just live in one place. All of these notes live along the fretboard, so I encourage you, have some fun with this. That's why we play music, it's fun. And as always, I'm here to remind you that you can play guitar, all right? This is a great song for you to learn, and you can play. I'm here to remind you that you can do that. As always, these lessons fly by. So there is Locomotive Breath by Jethro Tull. I hope it was fun. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that thumbs up button. It really does help the cause. As always, I want to thank my friends at Fishman for helping me do these lessons week after week, and most certainly and always, I want to thank all of you. Thank you for tuning in and for sharing these lessons with a friend and for just being so kind to one another in the comments. It's really, really wonderful, and it truly is such an honor to show you guys how to play some of my favorite songs. It's a blast. So, as always, wishing you much success in your musical journeys. I'm here to remind you, you can play guitar. Have fun with this. It's a